The Sunday roast sat in the center of the table, perfectly cooked, flanked by roasted potatoes and glazed carrots. It was a meal that had taken Sarah 4 hours to prepare, but as I looked around the table, the silence felt heavy enough to break the plates. "Pass the salt," Leo said, his eyes glued to his phone. He was 28, a graphic designer who still brought his laundry home to us every weekend. "I need $5,000, Mia announced casually, stabbing a potato. She was 26, bright, but perpetually finding herself. "My landlord is being a tyrant about the security deposit for the new place, and I want new furniture." I looked at my wife. Sarah's eyes were downcast, staring at her plate. I looked at my own hands, calloused from decades of carpentry, and then back at my children. We had established a pattern. We gave, they took, and the silence where a thank you should be was filled with new demands. "The roast is good, Mom," I said, trying to fill the void. "It's a bit dry," Leo muttered, finally looking up. "Hey, Dad, about my car insurance. The bill is on the counter. Can you handle it by Tuesday?" That night after they had left, Leo with a bag of leftovers and fresh laundry, Mia with a check she had guilted out of Sarah, I sat at the kitchen table, watching the streetlights flicker outside. "We broke them, Sarah," I said quietly. She wiped a counter that was already clean. "We loved them, Ben. We just wanted them to have it easier than we did. And in doing so, we robbed them of the struggle that made us who we are," I replied, the realization settling in my gut like a stone. "They aren't bad kids. They're just asleep. They think the world owes them because we taught them that we owe them." We made a pact that night. It was the hardest decision of my parenting life. It wasn't about punishment. It was about preparation. The first test came 2 weeks later. Leo's transmission failed. He called me, panic in his voice, expecting the usual wire transfer. "I can't do it, son," I said. My hand was shaking as I held the phone. "What do you mean? I can't get to work?" "Then you'll have to take the bus or work out a payment plan with the mechanic," I said, forcing my voice to remain steady. "I can drive you to the shop, but I cannot pay for it." He hung up on me. It felt like a physical blow. 3 days later, Mia called. She had overdrawn her account buying concert tickets and couldn't buy groceries. I listened on the extension as Sarah handled it. "Come over for dinner," Sarah said gently. "We have plenty of food here, but I won't be transferring money to your account." "You're kidding me," Mia scoffed. "You guys have plenty. Why are you doing this?" "Because we love you," Sarah said, holding back tears. The next 6 months were the longest winter of our lives. The children stopped visiting. The calls became infrequent and short. Sarah and I spent our evenings holding hands, worrying, doubting ourselves, but holding the line. We knew that yielding now would only validate their entitlement. Then the thaw began. It started with Leo. He showed up on a Tuesday evening looking tired. He didn't have a laundry bag. He didn't ask for money. "I fixed it," he said, standing in the doorway. "Fixed what?" I asked. "The transmission." "Well, I didn't fix it, but I picked up extra shifts, sold my old gaming console, and worked out a deal with the mechanic. It's paid off." I smiled, a genuine, proud smile that felt foreign on my face after months of worry. "That's impressive, Leo." "Really?" He looked at his shoes. "I took the bus for 3 weeks. Dad, that sucked, but I did it." "Come in," I said, stepping aside. "Mom made chili." A month later, Mia came over. She looked thinner, but sharper, more present. She sat at the table and watched Sarah chopping vegetables. "I got a second job," Mia said. "Waitressing on weekends. I didn't want to tell you until I stuck with it for a month." "Good for you, Mia," Sarah said. "I realized I didn't know how much things cost," Mia admitted softly. "Like, really cost. In hours worked, not just dollars." The transformation wasn't overnight. There were setbacks. But Sarah and I shifted our role from ATM to consultant. When they had problems, we offered wisdom, strategy, and emotional support, but never a check. The climax of our journey came on our 35th wedding anniversary. Usually, we took the kids out to dinner and paid the massive bill. This year, Leo and Mia insisted on hosting at the family home. When Sarah and I walked into the dining room, the table was set with a precision I hadn't seen since my mother was alive. Candles were lit. A roast, perfectly cooked, sat in the center. Leo was in an apron. "Sit down, old man," he joked, but his tone was affectionate. Mia brought out a bottle of wine. "This isn't the cheap stuff," she smiled. "And yes, I budgeted for it." We ate and the food was delicious. But the real nourishment came from the conversation. We talked about work, about the economy, about the future. We spoke as 4 adults, equals in the struggle of life. When the meal was finished, I reached for my wallet out of habit to offer to pay for the groceries they had bought. Leo reached out and gently pushed my hand down. "No, Dad. We got this." Mia stood up and cleared her throat. She looked at her brother, then at us. "We wanted to say something," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "For a long time, we thought love meant you guys fixing everything for us. We were brats. We were entitled, Leo nodded. We didn't see how hard you worked because you never let us feel the weight of it. When you cut us off, I was so angry. But I get it now. I look at my paycheck, and I look at this house, and I realize what you two built. We aren't just grateful for the money you used to give us, Mia said, tears welling up in her brown eyes. We're grateful you stopped. You gave us our dignity back. You taught us how to stand on our own feet. Leo raised his glass. To Mom and Dad, for the patience to raise us, and the courage to let us go so we could come back. I looked at Sarah. She was beaming, a tear tracing a path down her cheek. We hadn't just raised children. We had finally raised good people. The silence that used to haunt this table was gone, replaced by the warm, steady sound of gratitude. Happy anniversary, I whispered to my wife.